So the news has been going around that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is finally going to be appearing on PC on January 30th, which is actually tomorrow. And honestly, I feel like this is something that should have been done a lot sooner. And the reason I say that is because Marvel Spider-Man 2 appeared back in 2023, and we're now just getting the PC version of this game. But then again, it's better than the original Marvel Spider-Man game from 2018 in the sense where that game came out back in fall of um back in like fall of 2018 in September for the PS4, and we didn't get the PC version of that game until summer of 2022. So it's a good thing that Sony and Insomniac Games is trying to or has succeeded in getting Marvel Spider-Man 2 to PC a lot faster than they did the first game. And yeah, I don't think this game is going to be backwards compatible for the PS4 because what would be the point considering the fact that the PlayStation 4 has been around for over a decade. And I don't know. I'm not going to say it's obsolete, but at the same time, there aren't too many people um, going out of their way to buy PS4s nowadays, unless they don't have the money to buy a PlayStation 5. And Marvel Spider-Man 2 has actually achieved an impressive feat, and that is it has managed to sell 11 million copies in like less than 2 years. So at this point, I'm almost certain that's going to surpass Marvel Spider-Man 1 because Marvel Spider-Man 1 on I think on the PlayStation 4 alone did like 20 million in terms of sales. I'm not exactly sure how much it did on PC and PlayStation 5, but I do feel that it's possible that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will end up surpassing its predecessor in terms of sales. I don't know when, but I do know that it being on the PC is definitely going to help the overall sales numbers of that game. And I find it kind of funny how that game is on, PC, but not on the Xbox Series X. And the reason I say that is because, like like Sony's games, like the games that they publish are normally like PS5 exclusives. They make exceptions here and there when it comes to like computer games because of Steam and all that. But when it comes to like laptops and computers and all that stuff, a lot of consumers end up buying their stuff from Microsoft. So it's weird. Like it's a very it's a very like roundabout way to have their games on Microsoft products, but at the same time, like Sony has been competing with Microsoft in relation to consoles for the most part, and it doesn't seem like Microsoft is really competing with the Sony or Nintendo as much anymore. In fact, they've done partnerships with both entities with bringing games to Nintendo and trying to do like collaboration and cross-platform gaming with like Sony and all that stuff. So I would say that the console wars is I wouldn't say it's officially over, but seem like it's close to over because it doesn't seem like Microsoft's really competing with anyone, and Nintendo's kind of just doing their thing, and Sony's just kind of doing their thing as well. But yeah, I mean, you look at the best-selling PS5 games aside from Marvel Spider-Man 2, you got Elden Ring, you got Final Fantasy 16, you got Astrobot, and in terms of sales, none of those games touch Marvel Spider-Man 2 at all because Elden Ring, since its release back in 2022, has managed to do roughly over 3.6 million in sales. Final Fantasy 16 has done like roughly around 3 million sales, and Astrobot has done like 1.5 million in sales since its release back in the fall of 2024. And it's possible that the numbers for Astrobot can eventually go up over time, but I don't see it touching Marvel Spider-Man 2. I don't see Elden Ring touching Marvel Spider-Man 2. I sure as hell don't see Final Fantasy 16 touching Marvel Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. So yeah, I'm just gonna go on off a cliff and say Marvel Spider-Man 2 is gonna end up being the best-selling video game for the PS5 era because its predecessor ended up being the best-selling video game during the PS4 era of the teens decade. And And yeah, a lot of people are excited about Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming to PC because the game is going to get more exposure and honestly, there's a lot of like PC gamers in this day and age, probably more so than console gamers, because having your video games on PC is more um it's more convenient. It's a lot easier, and people like to do digital downloads anyways because it seems like when it comes to gaming, physical hardware is something that's going to become obsolete or a thing in the past in the future. And I'm pretty sure, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to reach at least 20 mil in terms of sales before Sony announces the PX6 later down the line.